Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and my Lethal Builder run. I'm doing the thing I often do right now where I play with the Salt of the Earth, which is sort of my lower difficulty community, and I'm running through and completing a bunch of bounties. But what I like to do is funnel all the rewards for those bounties to my lethal community, who needs it a lot more. And so what I've done in the past is just set up one of my lethal characters next to the bounty broker, so they can just sort of collect it. And then I just switch back and forth freely between the two. But what I think I want to do this time, rather than doing all of that in the Salt of the Earth episode, I think I actually want to do it... I know where this is. I think I actually want to be doing 2 episodes simultaneously. And here's why. It's because a couple of episodes ago, I lost a character completely by surprise. Like, I went from thinking I was doing just a perfectly normal, relaxed, food hunting expedition, and then suddenly a character that I was actually really excited about that I had just recruited for valuable skill, character was just dead. And I realized that could also happen on the way to the bounty broker. There's nothing stopping the zombies from murdering me on the way to the bounty broker. And if I'm going to lose a character in my in the commune, in my lethal builder community, I want to do it in one of their episodes. So I'm going to be basically doing 2 episodes simultaneously here. I'm going to be doing the beginning of this episode, where I collect a bunch of bounties, which is going to be probably not the most exciting thing you've ever seen. But then I'll actually be collecting those bounties, trying to earn those bounties over with the Salt of the Earth in a different episode. So I don't know if this is going to be fun to watch later on YouTube. The people who are watching me live on Twitch, they're seeing it all happen in order. I'm just making up a weird editing challenge for myself for no reason. So let me know in the comments if you think this was a good idea or if you think this is stupid and impossible to follow. But for right now, all I've got is... Oh, no, I've got 2 influence rewards to pick up. And influence rewards seem minor when you're playing on a lower difficulty level for yourself, but man, do I want influence when I'm playing here. Okay, so I'm always feeling like I don't have enough influence. So how much do I have right now? It's behind my head, but it's 1,233. And I'm curious, does that unlock... Am I now able to do any upgrades to outposts that I couldn't do before? I don't think so. Yeah, I think they're all waiting on 2,000, aren't they? Yeah, 2,000, or knowledge of chemistry, which is the thing I lost when I lost that character. At some point, I need to recruit somebody new again to this. Oh, actually, how expensive is it to recruit a It is exactly 1,200 to recruit a legacy survivor. You know what? That's what I should do. That influence that the Salt of the Earth just sent me, I should use it to recruit a legacy survivor and find somebody who's got chemistry. I don't even know if I've done that much with this community. Okay, so we've kicked it off. And, oh, hello. Here we go. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not bringing the Bunny Lord in here. Let's find somebody. What is this noise? Okay. Okay, wait. Demolitions? Does that satisfy munitions? I'm trying to remember. Does that satisfy when something requires like chemistry? Does demolitions give that? I don't think it does. Now, I could have missed something, but is there not a single chemistry expert here? I might have been not watching for munitions and pharmacology. But I think I don't have any chemistry experts in my legacy pool. What in the world? Okay, but Orithos is telling me that, yes, actually demolitions on a Red Talon character does work. Okay, so I actually saw a couple of those. So we've got Washington here, who's actually been a leader before. So we could grab him, but there was another demolitions, wasn't there? There we go. And there's also Flores. Flores is a potential warlord. And actually, I'm not sure if I've got warlords. I'm going to need a warlord in this community eventually. So yeah, let's grab Flores. So, oh, it gives knowledge of munitions, but not knowledge of chemistry. So that does give me some of what I want. It doesn't I think it skips knowledge of chemistry. Yeah, Sinister Plank is backing that up. Who decided that? It was me. I decided that that's how it should work. Because I didn't want Red Talon characters to be the Swiss Army knife that solves everything. So, I mean, I still kind of like the idea of grabbing this character, regardless of whether or not she actually has the one thing I was looking for. So Orothaus is saying, here's how you do it. You make a dummy community with a chemist to get to the first base in Trumbull because it's the closed run. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And then send him to the legacy pool. Oh, and swing him. Oh, that's right. I forgot. You can just send people to the legacy pool. So if I did want to, I could just make a chemist and just send them here. That is an elaborate way to do it. And actually, okay, I'm going to grab this character. But you're right. But that's actually the thing that you're suggesting, Orothaus, is actually a good illustration of a problem that we often face in game development and a way that I really like to think about designing systems, which is you try to think of the stupidest exploit that a player can do. Like if you say, okay, we're going to make a rule that in the game you can't do X because we think players are going to do X, and if they do it, the game will be less fun. And so we're going to say you can't do X. But if you can think of a roundabout way that they can still do X, but it's really stupid and time-consuming and takes a lot of extra effort, it'll be a chore and they'll be really annoyed about it, you got to remember, players will still do it. It doesn't matter how annoying it is, they will still do it if it feels like there's some kind of optimization benefit to it. So you have to think of those things. And if you can't cut off all those possibilities, if no matter what, players are still going to do it in a most annoying way possible, then you might as well just give them the ability to do it in an easy way. Like, if they're going to do it anyway, just let them do it. You know? That's my philosophy. It doesn't always win out, and I don't always think through all of these things in every situation. But theoretically, I'm just like, yeah, if I'm going to let you do it in a stupid way, I might as well let you do it in a good way. So we should give you the ability to recruit characters with particular skills. If you could do it that way, then we should just give it to you instead of making you jump through all those hoops. Though Sinister Plank says, if players put all that effort into making their own game less fun, why not let them? Well, so that is a point. I've actually thought of that myself many times, but I think that what I'm responsible for as a game developer is the incentives in the game. Like, I can't control how you play the game. And if you do something absolutely insane, I'm not fully responsible for that. But I do create the incentive landscape that you're making choices within. And that does affect the choices that you make. And so even if you are consciously making the choices that make your game less fun, I still have to think about the choices that you're likely to make and the choices that you feel encouraged to make by my decisions. And I'm still responsible for trying to make the best choice-making landscape that I possibly can, so that you can have more fun making the choices that come naturally to you. So anyway, I have just recruited somebody. Did that mean did they just join my community? I forgot how this works. Oh, I forgot who Flores was. Flores is my blue-haired character. Ages ago, I did an episode that where Flores was front and center, and I was so excited about her blue hair because she's a Red Talon operative, which means her hair is not visible most of the time. And so as a joke, the character artist gave one of the Red Talon characters blue hair because you would never see it. But then later on, when you could recruit Red Talon operatives and change their outfits, which came in later on, I guess you could recruit them from the beginning, but you couldn't change their outfits until later on. Suddenly, the blue hair that he put on this character was revealed, and he was just laughing at all of us because none of us knew it was there. So yeah, that's great. I'm glad that I brought Flores in. I'd forgotten that's who that was. Anyway, all right, so we have collected those bounties. Now it's time to go complete some more bounties. So I'm going to snap my fingers, switch back to the other episode, and we'll be back here, hopefully, with more bounties completed. Okay, we are back. So I just had to decide whether I was going to go after a bunch of heavy weapon bounties or go after some freak-killing bounties. I started on the heavy weapons, and then I decided that just by coincidence, the freaks that I needed spawned. So I went back and I grabbed the freak bounties instead. So ready to collect one for killing a Juggernaut with a rifle and one for killing a bloater while crouched. Which, that's a ranged weapon bounty. They assume it's a ranged weapon bounty because you have to be insane to try to kill a bloater while crouched up close. All bloater bounties are ranged weapon bounties. So, okay, so we've grabbed those. And I guess I don't have much else to do right now. So I guess we'll snap our fingers again and go back to the Salt of the Earth. Okay, I'm back again. I've just wrapped up the episode that I'm doing with the Salt of the Earth, but I did manage to complete 3 more bounties with them before I left. So we're going to go collect the non-compliant SKS, the Guandao, and another 100 influence. Wait, what was that? What was that? Don't see anybody who would make a noise that scary. Wait, you look like you're crawling. Okay, we gotta get out of here. So let's queue up some other bounties. Killing armor Zeds with vehicles. That feels like a thing I could accomplish here. Screamers with fire. Could do. And then I guess we'll just grab this, get 2 enclaves to allied status. I'm curious. Actually, that's not how I wanted to do it. If I wanted to get them to allied status, I could try to bring another enclave into the world using the last bit of influence that I got from this whole effort. I guess I could drive home, but all we've done so far is chat a little bit and collect a bunch of bounties. This isn't a proper episode yet. So I don't have the most time in the world, but we should do something, right? What's this? There's a strange signal at a cell tower. But there's also... Oh, wait. We did just invite somebody, and there's a welcome to the party. Where's... Oh, it hasn't come yet. There it is. Wait, the bust heads? Okay, welcome to the party hasn't happened yet. But the bust heads... They've got somebody who's been left behind. You know, let's do a mission. Let's see if we can elevate an enclave to allied status. Or at least make some progress in that direction. That'll feel like we're doing something useful, right? Now, if we see a screamer, we will throw our napalm grenade at it. And if we see armored zombies, we will run them over. So we've got all kinds of things that we can do that are useful. However, I don't want to run over everybody because this is the lethal zone. And that will be very expensive on my car. So I was just playing with the Salt of the Earth, and they're in the Dread Zone. And even then, I got a character sick, and she could easily have died. Like, it is funny how, you know, just playing a lot of State of Decay 2 can just make you overconfident, and you can just step into situations that absolutely get you killed. Oh, so Airy Twitch says that cell tower mission is rare clothing. Okay, so actually, you know what? If it's a newish rare clothing mission, I might have never done it. That might actually be worth checking out. Okay, so for now though. Okay, you have to stop firing the loudest gun ever created by human beings. Holy crap, Rash. Yes. So, I was talking with the chat a second ago about alcoholic characters and how we don't really represent alcoholism in the game as a character trait or as something that you have to grapple with as a player. Where are we trying to go with here? Like, we thought of trying to have like an addiction mechanic in the game, and other games have done that before too. But to us, like, we experimented with the idea of, like, for instance, setting it up so that if you use the most powerful painkillers all the time, then there would be something where, you know, the character would now have lower health until they took painkillers and make them reliant on the painkillers. And in theory, it always sounds fun to take something from the real world and turn it into a game mechanic. But also, like, addiction can be such a painful thing in a lot of people's lives. It also felt a little bit like, you know, if you're only going to treat it like a fun little game mechanic and not take it super seriously, maybe that's going to rub people the wrong way. Maybe there are people for whom the game is going to feel more false and like annoying and not actually engaging. If you make light of something like that and just treat it like oh yeah, this is just, you know, addiction is just a thing where, you know, you pay a little cost for extra healing or whatever, and it doesn't, you know, rather than taking it seriously. So at the same time, so that was the thinking when we decided not to have an addiction mechanic in the game. But then at the same time, in a completely different part of the team with a completely different thought process, we had the Booze Hounds, who are a bunch of drunkards, and the game just basically makes comedy out of how drunk all these people are all of the time and how reliant on alcohol they are. And so, I don't know, that doesn't feel like we had an extremely thorough clarity of vision when it came to our decisions about how to represent addiction in the game. Who am I here to talk to now? Oh, talk to Rash, the stranger I just... Okay, yeah. Let me know when you're ready. Alcohol's valuable these days. So yeah, we're just gonna keep making fun of these alcoholics over here, like it's no big deal. And I'm sorry. So there we go. Yeah. So let's go actually and check out this other mission up here, because I actually am very curious what's up here, because this might be a mission that I actually don't know anything about. And it's always fun when I get to encounter something I've never encountered before in this game. So Leon Snyder asks, are we getting a State of Decay 3 eventually? Yes. I am confident that you are getting a State of Decay 3 eventually. I don't know if you wanted me to answer more than that, but that is definitely an answer that I can give you. So Tolo21 asks, is there a reason the incendiary shotgun wasn't in State of Decay 2? So I guess it's just the same reason for anything that wasn't in the game. It's like, you know, you could think of a million things that we could put in State of Decay 2, and then we had to choose a subset and put those in. There were times when we talked about including incendiary shotguns in the game. One of the problems, though, is that in real life, you don't have special incendiary shotguns that only fire incendiary rounds. You have normal shotguns in which you can load regular shotgun rounds or slugs or, you know, whatever, flechette rounds or something, or incendiary rounds. And in State of Decay 2, you know, we had a slightly higher fidelity of, you know, adherence to reality than we had in State of Decay 1. So whereas in State of Decay 1, we could just introduce this class of new shotguns called incendiary shotguns that all fired only incendiary shotgun ammo. I think if we'd done that in State of Decay 2, that might have felt a little bit more off than it did in State... I mean, it already felt off in State of Decay 1, honestly. I didn't love that that's how we did it, but the other option where we added an entirely new mechanic and new UX for swapping different types of ammo into a gun, that was partly that would be expensive, which, you know, whatever, is often an argument against doing something when you're, you know, trying to fit a bunch of stuff into a tiny update. But also, There's just a problem of, would that be a bridge too far? Would adding a way to swap ammo mean that some of our more casual players are like, this game is too complicated. It's forbidding. It's like, wait, I have to know how to switch ammo now? And there are ways to do things like that. There are ways to do something like that that don't really impact the player. Like, for instance, actually, a really good example is Helldivers 2, where you may or may not know, if you play Helldivers 2, you may or may not know that you can alter... Wait a minute, where are we going? Where are we going? Search and retrieve... Wait, it's saying that there's supposed to be a Cleo drop, but I don't see it marked on the map. Hold on. Maybe I'm looking for a supply drop. Just a regular supply drop icon. Well, I got one anyway. Oh, come on. I was out of bullets. You butt. Okay, fine. Let's get out of here as fast as we can. Oh, no! Now we've awakened a freaking plague heart. Cool. Well, I was going to look for a drop. Now, I just need to get out of here. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, there's the supply drop. There's the icon. Okay, good. And it's some distance away, which means I don't have to be next to those zombies. Okay, here we go. We've got it. Here's the Cleo drop. Wait. Okay, I want to get a nice, shot of Nando lit by the Cleo drop, just because I like thumbnails. And we got a note here that says shipping manifest. Contact with Cleo inactive. Echo Lab freight protocol activated. Oh, okay, I haven't emptied my... Hold on. Let's grab the hat. I've got a white gambler hat. Nice. Actually, you know what I should do? I should put on the hat. Where's my new gambler hat? There it is, gambler hat. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, we need to wear an outfit that goes with this. Now, what goes with a white gambler hat? Ouchie? Yeah, that doesn't seem right. What about... there's the outlaw vest. No. A little too much contrast. Ranch hand jacket? A little too casual. Oh, tattered... Yes. Which one? This one or that one? Oh, the black tattered suit. No, I think I need some white in there. Let's go black and blue. Hey, you get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. All right. There we go. Hey, give me my normal camera back. There we are. Here we are with our Cleo drop. There we are. Hey, buddy. Wah! I know you all just love watching me just sit here trying to get a good thumbnail. Yeah, so as the zombies get closer, the camera pulls back. It actually gives me a better shot. So many zombies around here. So anyway, let's empty out my inventory into the back of this truck. So I can actually... So I've got all of these things that I got from... Wait, not my bullets. Put those back. We've got all these things that we picked up from the bounty broker that are preventing me from getting stuff out of here. So what did we get? We got a fancy advanced brake. Got an Echo assault rifle. Okay, so this must be... Oh, and we got a Wraith. Got a Wraith Sword. I don't think I even have... Oh, gosh. Right. Yeah, those explode. Okay. Yeah, anyway. Well, hey, this has been a really, really fruitful session. Not only did we get a bunch of stuff from the bounty broker, but we managed to pick up a bunch of stuff from a Cleo drop, too. So thank you for calling that out. I think it was Airy Twitch who called that out. Thank you. Yeah, so Malator says this is like Nando was opening his Christmas gift from Cleo. Like, he was all dressed for Christmas, and then he opened up his Christmas gift and got a new suit. That was great. Lockenstein says, I'm not used to Jeffrey actually doing missions. Yeah, that is kind of unusual, but, you know, sometimes you got to change it up, right? Oh, by the way, I never finished the thought I was had. So, Helldivers 2. So, you can change the rate of fire of your machine gun. You can switch a bunch of stuff about your gun. You can switch to different scope depths and things like that. What you have to do is hold down... Oh, great. There's both my doors, and I'm almost out of gas. Hold down the reload button. If you hold down the reload button instead of tapping it, you open up a whole bunch of new options. But if you never do that, you never learn about those mechanics, and you know what? You can play the whole game without ever knowing about those mechanics, and it's totally fine. So it could be that they're actually... Maybe there was some way that we could have integrated ammo type swapping into the game without causing a huge problem for new players or casual players trying to learn the mechanics. But also, I mean, it might have been tougher for us because every different type of ammo is a different inventory item that scavenged differently, crafted differently. So I don't know. There probably might not actually have been a way for a casual player to ignore the mechanic. In fact, they might have ended up with a bunch of pyro ammo, and they're looking at it and like a bunch of dragon's breath, and they're like, what do I do with this? How do I use it? And if they never discovered that feature, actually they probably get frustrated by all this stuff that they've got in their inventory that they have to look on a wiki somewhere to find out how to use. So, I don't know. Man, we are almost completely out of gas. This is about to be stupid. Okay, we're about to charge up the hillside, actually. To get as close as we can before we run out of gas. And there we are. We ran out of gas right here. I'm holding the accelerator. Nothing's happening. I'm drifting backwards. I love that I can't even put it in park now. I just have to get out. The only way to put it in park is to get out. Okay, we need to go get some gas for this thing so we can put it into a convenient parking place. And actually unload all the crap I've got in the back. Wait, can I jump this? So yeah, so anyway, I guess the question I was originally answering was, why didn't we do pyro ammo? Basically, why did we not do Dragon's Breath in State of Decay 2 when we had it in State of Decay 1? Yeah, so in State of Decay 1, Dragon's Breath was a late game edition. Like I think it was added with the Year 1 Survival Edition, and I think you could only get it through like Xbox Live challenges or something like that. It was a really weird, rare thing. And we did it in kind of a cheap way. We made it so that you had special shotguns that could fire incendiary ammo, and other shotguns couldn't. We had to treat it as a totally different weapon class because we didn't have an ammo swapping mechanic. In State of Decay 2, I think if we did it, I think the expectations would have been higher, and I think we probably would have needed to add an ammo swapping mechanic, which would have been a whole thing, with risks and chances that players would find it forbidding and too complicated. And so even though we talked about it a couple of times as one option, we just never ended up pursuing it. What does that mean about the future? Absolutely nothing. Who knows what decisions we'll make in the future? But yeah. Anyway, there you go. There's your explanation for why we haven't done it. And it's complicated, but maybe someday. Anyway, let's repair this. Keep it. We'll drop off all the stuff that we don't need right now. And then, we'll also grab... Do I have gas here, or do I need to... Oh, right. I've got, actually, materials. I think I lost track of the fact Because that's right. Because I was basically making this episode to support a Salt of the Earth episode. I wasn't thinking about what these people need. These people need materials. We're actually running pretty low on materials, so I'm going to need to worry about that. But I'll worry about it next time. For right now, let's run this gas back out to the car. Bring it the rest of the way up this hill. We'll need to repair it too. But we'll bring it the rest of the way up this hill, unload the trunk, and then I think we'll wrap this up. So yeah, so Sinister Plank agrees that that it would be really fun if we had Dragon's Breath ammo, but he can see that it's one of those cases where the coolness might not be worth the cost. And that's the kind of decision we have to make all the time as game developers. It's like we have ideas that are so cool sometimes. And you all know that because you also have ideas that are so cool sometimes. But the question of whether we can actually pull them off, whether they end up being worth the cost, and it's not just the cost. It's not just like, is it worth the time we would spend, the money that we would spend implementing these mechanics. It's also the opportunity cost, because that same time and money could be put into something else. And so if you take a mechanic that, it would be pretty cool, but it would cost the same as making 10 other mechanics that are just as cool. That one really expensive cool mechanic, as cool as it is, you'll probably never do it because you're going to keep coming up with other things to do that would be just as cool that you could do much more cheaply. So now and then you decide that something is actually cool enough that you devote that kind of time and effort to it. But it's actually, just as often. Actually, I'm going to leave this unpaused while we talk because I would love for the night to go away. But just as often, you're actually in a situation where you really need to put off your favorite little cool ideas so you can get other cool things done instead. So Orthaus is suggesting that shotgun would have to be able to fire whatever ammo type you happen to be carrying on you, and that's how you change it. If you're carrying one ammo, that's what it shoots. If you're carrying the other, that's what it shoots. And if you carry both, it draws the type you first loaded. Like if you loaded the fire rounds first, it's gonna. So Orthaus is describing a way that we could manage it without having to include like an actual manual ammo switching mechanic. So Orthaus, you are correct. We could do a version of it where it just looks at what's in your inventory, and if you only have one type in your inventory, it always loads from that, and if you have both, it just goes through whatever it's already doing and then switches. That's true. The weird problem we would run into in that case is that if a player does want to carry both and does want to switch, we've now created a chore for them where what they have to do is go to the trunk of their car, empty out the one that they didn't want to use, only like they would have to do like manual swapping in the trunk of their car or something like that in order to manage it, which isn't insane. People have definitely done more weird chores in State of Decay 2 than that, but it's one of those things where it'll like bug you as a designer. Like there's a better version. There's a version where the player has more control, and it's hard to implement the one where you're asking the player, or at least certain players are going to take on an additional chore that makes the game less fun for them. And so you are absolutely correct. That is a way we could do it if we were really motivated to get it in and we thought we couldn't do an ammo switching mechanic, we could do it that way and it would work. I think that it would create chores for some players, and there would also just be players who looked at the mechanic, they're like, why didn't you just, and we would get lots and lots of comments which were like, why didn't you just implement an ammo switching mechanic? And well, technically we would have a good answer for them, which is that's expensive and we did other things with our time instead. It's not just the people who talk to us. And like, I'm not worried about getting the comments. Like I can field comments from people. That's fine. It's getting the comments and having the fact, like when you get comments from 15 people telling you something, what that means is there's 15,000 people thinking that when they're playing the game. And you're annoying a much larger group of people who aren't the ones that are talking to you. And so yeah, so it's complicated. So yeah, so I think your solution is a good solution, Orthaus, for that situation. But I think that we probably just avoid the situation entirely because it has some awkward edges to it. Let's see here. Let me see what else I've missed. Yeah, so Orthoth says, or people can carry 2 shotguns loaded with different types. Yeah, nope, that's true as well. In fact, I could see, but like, imagine the weird hoops you would have to jump through to, because you would have to get 1 shotgun in your inventory with only 1 ammo type, load that shotgun, and then remove that ammo type from your inventory, and then get another shotgun, and only the other ammo type in your inventory, and then load just that shotgun, and then get the other ammo type back in your inventory for the first shotgun. Like, you know, it's like whenever when you design something that works like that, you're like, no, I have to provide people with something better than this. I have to, and I don't want to ship this feature unless I've done better, you know? But yeah. But anyway, no, again, like, this is not me criticizing your solution, Orthoth, because it totally works. And the kind of problem solving you're doing, actually, the kind of problem solving that Orthoth is doing here is exactly what we have to do when we're forced to ship a mechanic that is not the ideal mechanic that we wanted. And that actually happens a lot. And you can see a lot. I mean, it's not going to come to my head right now, but there's lots of examples of that in State of Decay 2 where we had an idealized version of a mechanic that we really wanted to ship, and then we got close to the ship deadline. We had not actually created that mechanic. And so we had to step back and make a lesser version of it. And actually, you know what? I think that the way that the crafting menu works, where basically every time you craft something, it closes the menu, and then you have to reopen the sub-menu in order to craft another copy of the same thing, and you can't just spam the craft button again and again on something. That was because we were running out of time to build the facility menu. Like, the programmer that was doing it had to do a lot of things before we shipped, and basically they could get the crafting process done quickly if all they did after you crafted something was close the menu instead of dealing with the ending of crafting and queuing you up for another one. Like, if they just close the submenu, it solves the problem and they can move on to the next thing, which we desperately needed them to make. And so we took a shortcut. And so technically you can craft in the game. You can craft lots of things, but you have to go through an elaborate process to do it. But that was a solution that would ship the game. It wasn't a good solution, but it was a solution. And there's lots of things like that throughout State of Decay 2. You'll see places where you can easily imagine a much better way we could have done something. And probably if you ask us about it, the story is going to be, yes, we agree. That would have been a much better way to do it. That sounds like an awesome version of that feature. However, we had to ship the game. And technically, the game works if it works the way you see it in the game right now. And that's good enough. And players can play with the mechanic. They can use it if they want to. Not ideal, but it's there. And for a game like State of Decay, which is like, the fantasy of State of Decay, the experience of State of Decay, arises from the presence of a lot of different mechanics. It's not about one thing. Like, I've been really enthusing a lot lately about a lot of games that are about one thing, like Sanabi and Prepper Grinder and stuff, where they just pick one thing for the game to be about, and they just nail that one thing. State of Decay is not that kind of game. State of Decay is a game where the experience of State of Decay that you come to it for arises from a lot of different things all being there together. And so it actually is in the interest of our players and the fantasy that they're trying to fulfill by playing our game. It's in their interest for us to prioritize getting a lot of mechanics into the game to complement each other and work together to create that fantasy than it is for us to take any one mechanic and make it the perfect version of that mechanic. Now, in an ideal world where we have infinite money and time, I can't promise we would use that well, but if we have infinite money and time, ideally, we would make a perfect version of every single one of those mechanics and then have all of these perfect mechanics come together to create a perfect shared fantasy where they all mutually are like supporting each other in creating this player fantasy, and that would be great. But since we're not in that world, prioritizing getting them all in and having them all work together to create this fantasy is the right choice over getting each of them individually right. I wish that wasn't the trade-off we often had to make, but that I think it was the right call a lot of the time. Or that's a suggestion I should make this a viewer question video. I'm not sure if it's structured right for a viewer question video. If you're watching this later on YouTube, you know whether I made it a viewer question video. This might just be me actually filling time at the end of what was going to be a short Lethal Builder video and making it longer by blathering a lot. But I do really have to go. I have to head home. I've got an appointment I need to get to, so we should wrap this up. Let me quickly glance through, see what else I missed. Yeah, Sinister Plank says a perfect game is a game that never ships. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good way to put it. And yeah, and Cog says good enough is the enemy of the perfect, which is the opposite of what we usually say, but that's fine. I think that goes with the joking persona that Cogs has always put forward. So that makes sense. And Sinister Blake says this is actually the type of content that viewers need to hear. So I appreciate. I like, I do enjoy talking to you all, and I like pontificating about game development. And so when you appreciate it from me, I also appreciate you, because it gives me a chance to do this thing that I enjoy. But yeah, okay, let's actually get out of here, though, because I really do need to run. So there is a subscribe button and links to other videos. I'm going to come back, do some more Lethal Builder stuff, and actually, the sun is rising. It will be daytime in the next episode, and we'll probably go get some materials.